Hello everyone, this is my 7-round NFL mock draft for the Pittsburgh Steelers using PFF's simulator. This was a short but sweet draft for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I like it quite a bit, and let me tell you why. First of all, I was able to get Jake Fromm, quarterback, Georgia University. I like him quite a bit. He's a really accurate quarterback. He makes quick decisions, and he won a lot of games at the University of Georgia. The risk or the things that are lacking in his game would be the fact that he doesn't take a lot of shots down the field, and he's not a great deep ball thrower. That's the issues that he has. So he's quite a bit different than Ben Roethlisberger, but you need to start looking to the future and try and get a player that can be better than Mason Rudolph and the other guys that they had to trot out there last year, because Roethlisberger is not going to be around for much longer. Moving on, at 102, I selected Jack Driscoll, tackle, Auburn University. This guy is one of my favorite players in the entire draft. What I really like about him is that he's really super solid in pass protection. He just does not get beat. He does not give up pressures very often. And also, he's quite good in the run game as well. The thing with him is that he's not the fastest guy, so not every offensive scheme. I think he's more of a power player. You're not going to use him in a zone blocking scheme because he doesn't move around a lot. Whenever he had to pull, he was really slow in pulling, and so he's not the best prospect in regards to that kind of scheme. Next, at 103, I selected Kayvon Wallace, cornerback, Clemson University. He's really good as a slot cornerback, but he's quite bad as a safety prospect. So cornerback is, of course, an area that the Steelers could certainly stand to improve, especially in the slot. So I think he's going to fit really well. He's a great tackler. He's really good when he's playing kind of off-zone slot corner. He can see the things in front of him, come up, boom, make a play on the ball, make a sure, solid tackle, and also his coverage ability is certainly, he's no slouch in that regard. And then finally, I want to talk about the last 4 picks as a group. Just quickly, Kelvin Throckmorton, guard, Oregon University. Lynn Bowden Jr., wide receiver out of University of Kentucky. Kenny Robinson Jr., safety, formerly of the XFL St. Louis Battlehawks / West Virginia University. And then Carter Coughlin, edge, University of Minnesota. Now, I want to give a little bit of perspective on how I view the draft and the different tiers for players in a particular draft. The first 120 players, between 100 and 120 in any given draft, that's where you're going to get the players that have a higher chance of starting. Well, let me rephrase this. The top 120 players, that's the guys that you should be able to plug in right away and be starters from day one. So after that, you're really only getting something like depth players, some competition there, guys that really aren't going to probably make the roster. So you'll see me maybe attack maybe different positions a little differently depending on if the player is in the top 120 or after that. So guard, it's not a super huge need, but I felt like the prospect was too good of a value there. Wide receiver, certainly some more competition will help out. And until you have a dominant offensive wide receiver group that goes 3 or 4 deep like the Kansas City Chiefs have, I think you still need to continue to add to that area. So that's why I took Lynn Bowden Jr. Kenny Robinson Jr., I just love him as a prospect. He's a player that the Pittsburgh Steelers don't have this type of player on their roster. This guy's an Earl Thomas. I'm not saying he's going to become Earl Thomas. No, not that at all. But he can play that kind of role in the NFL. The issue with him is that he's super up and down, very inconsistent. He'll miss a lot of tackles, and then he'll make an interception in the end zone and make a bunch of fabulous plays. So he's just really up and down with his play. And then finally, Carter Coughlin, getting some youth on the edge, some outside linebackers there, some more competition there, I think is a good add at almost the end of this draft. Finally, I'm going to look at the trade that I did. I think this is quite a very realistic trade. I went back from 49 to 53, and I picked up the 103rd pick as well. That might be a little rich. I'm not just moving back a couple of spots in the middle of the second round to pick up an early fourth round pick is maybe a little too much, but I think this happens, or I think it's realistically enough that something similar to this could happen, and I wanted to trade back if I had the opportunity for the Steelers because they don't have a lot of picks in this draft, as you can see. Now, overall, I think this is quite a good draft for the Steelers because it's added secondary help with a cornerback and a safety. It's added a wide receiver, an edge player, and a couple of players for the offensive line. Those are certainly areas that the Steelers could benefit from. And then with their first selection, you have a shot at a quarterback who can become something like, I know this is not the most exciting thing, but like at least Andy Dalton or plus, and that certainly has value. You can, in future drafts, if you get a guy you like better, you can move on from him, or this guy can maybe bring you some draft picks for at least a year or two. He's going to be a good backup, much better than what you have right now on that roster for Ben Roethlisberger, who's been quite injury prone recently. So I think he can come in and steady the ship for a couple of games if need be. And that's really important for the Steelers because this is the time to really be making the playoffs and getting back to a Super Bowl with this roster. Okay. Well, thank you very much if you stuck it all the way through. I really appreciate that, and you have a great day. Bye.